So you want to camp in Canyonlands. I am so excited for you, but get ready for a wild ride. Today we're going to talk about the ins and outs of camping in this beautiful and rugged national park. My name is Ash. I'm a former park ranger and the founder of dirtinmyshoes, and I'm also a Utah native. I spend as much time in the Utah National Parks as I can, and so I'm really excited today to talk you through the ins and outs of camping in Canyonlands National Park. Canyonlands has 2 front country campgrounds that we're going to talk about today. There are some backcountry options. I am not going to cover those in this video, so you will need to check the Canyonlands website for more information about those. But let's talk about the campgrounds that are more traditional, the ones that you would drive to with your car or your RV or your travel trailer and get in there and just have a nice camping experience, but with bathrooms. So those are the campgrounds we are talking about today. I'm going to tell you more about these individual campgrounds in a minute. First, I want to set the right expectations for what it is like to camp in Canyonlands National Park. Canyonlands is very wild. It's very rugged. It feels remote. And in a lot of cases, you are very remote, but the campgrounds follow suit. So when they made these campgrounds, they were like, you know what? Like, we're wild out here. We're just like having an adventure. Who needs amenities? Nobody needs amenities. So you are not going to get very many amenities in this national park, just in general. You know, even the hiking trails and stuff, like there's not usually water, there's not, you're not getting all the things, and the campgrounds follow suit, even the front country campgrounds. So what that means is, first of all, there's virtually no cell reception out here, so don't expect to have it. You are gonna be out in the great outdoors without connection to anyone back at home. You may get lucky and find a few little pockets here or there of cell reception, but in general, you're just not going to have it in this park. There are no dump stations or hookups in any of the campsites here. You are on your own. You need to be self-contained. If you're bringing that travel trailer or RV in, just know there is nowhere to take care of those things, and you will want to fill up your trailer before you get to the park. You'll need to keep all of that in mind because there are no amenities like that in this national park. And on that note, you are pretty limited in how often you can run your generator. They do have generator hours, but it's only a couple hours in the morning and a couple hours in the late afternoon. So don't plan on relying on your generator all day either. And the last thing that a lot of people sometimes get a little iffy on is there are no showers in these campgrounds, not even close. One of the campgrounds, the Island in the Sky campground, actually doesn't even have potable water in the campground. So if you want water, you're driving to the visitor center. They don't even have it there. Now, the Needles campground, the other one that I'll show you here in a minute, that one does have water seasonally, but we're in the desert and we're in a very rugged place. And so you will not have those creature comforts here. Couple of other housekeeping things. There is a 7-day limit in both of these campgrounds. There is a 10-person limit in both of these campgrounds in the regular sites. There are some group sites in the Needles, so you'll need to book one of those if you have a larger group, but 10 people and 2 cars is standard for the regular sites. Also, there's not a lot of trees, there's not a lot of shade, and no wood gathering. So if you're going to have a fire, you need to bring in your own wood, but also know that you are going to be exposed to the sun in both of these campgrounds. Okay, so let's jump in. Let me show you where these campgrounds are, and then we will talk through how to get a site in each campground. All right, so I am here on the map, and we have Canyonlands National Park right here. We've got Moab up here, and this is Arches over here. And so I talk about this in some other videos, my Canyonlands tips video, my can't miss activities video for Canyonlands. So go watch those first so that I can talk you through kind of the lay of the land in this national park in more depth. But in general, so this national park has different districts, and there's a district up here. This is the most popular one, the Island in the Sky. There's one down here that's the Needles, and then there's one over here that's the Maze. Okay, so one campground is up here in the Island in the Sky. It's just called the Island in the Sky Campground. It used to be called Willow Flat, so you might see that on some maps. So you've got one up here that's very centrally located to get to all these things here in the Island of the Sky. Your other campground is down here in the Needles, and so it's further away from Moab. You've got to drive down and in, and then you have the Needles campground in here. So these two districts are not connected by road through the park. You've got these two big rivers coming through here. So you need to choose the one that is in the district that you will be, exploring. You don't want to choose to camp up here and then have a 2.5-hour drive to get down to here, because down here is what where you want it to be to go hiking or something. So you do need to pay attention to where the activities are that you're wanting to do and get the campground that is in that district. Okay, so let's start with the Island in the Sky because that is the more popular district to visit. Its proximity to Moab and Arches is much closer, so more people go in there. Most people just drop in for the day, and the campground in Island in the Sky is tiny. It's only about 12 sites. I mentioned before, this one does not have potable water in the campground, and it's all first come, first serve, which is kind of a rarity in the national parks now. There's not as many first come, first serve options. Checkout is around 10 a.m. and in some national parks, you do kind of have to get there like super early. Yellowstone was like that for a long time until they switched to reservation. It was like people would line up for a site at like 5 a.m. We had done that a few times. Canyonlands is not like that. It's not as crazy as some of those other more popular parks that used to have first come, first serve. So checkout is at 10. If you probably want to get in there fairly early. It usually fills no later than noon. Can be earlier during peak season, weekends, stuff like that. But if it were me, I would get in there probably around 8-ish, 8:30. Give people a little bit of time to wake up and get packed up and out. Some people leave a little earlier than checkout. So getting in there, getting a site. I would not wait till later in the day if it's really important to you to camp here. And you'll just drive through the campground. You'll see if there's a tag on the site. If there's not a tag on the site, then it's open for you. If there is a tag on the site, but you see that they're checking out that day, a lot of times people are fine if you just talk to them and say, hey, are you leaving? Can we have your site today? And most people are happy to accommodate that, but only 12 sites. So you want to keep that in mind. Get in there fairly early and try to get a first come, first serve. Okay, so that's Island in the Sky, fairly straightforward. Now, if you're wanting to camp in the Needles district, it's a little bit different. This campground, it's a little bit bigger, about 26 sites. And one of the loops is reservable during the peak season, which is typically March 15th to November 15th. So most of the year, the B loop is reservable. The A loop is not reservable. That one stays first come, first serve. So if you're not able to get an advance reservation, you can show up to the Needles and kind of go through that same process that you would have at Island in the Sky to get one of those first come, first serve sites in the Needles. Now, to get a reservation in the B loop, if you're one of those people who just doesn't like to show up and hope you get something, I'm like that. I would much prefer to have it reserved so I know that I don't have to worry about it. Then you're going to go to recreation.gov and get a reservation for that B loop in the Needles campground. Let me show you how. Okay, so I am here on recreation.gov. I'm putting in Canyonlands National Park. Now we're going to scroll down. You can see camping and days here, so you can click on that or just scroll down here. Camping and day use, and then you will see that Needles District campground. They do have group campsites in the Needles, and so if you want a group site, you'll go through this one, but we're just wanting a regular site, so I'm going to click on that regular one. And you can see the campground is currently closed, not taking reservations. I'm going to put in my dates, and I am going to put them in for, let's go in August, and we'll go on a weekend. Okay, they do have some availability right now still. So as I mentioned, Canyonlands isn't as competitive as some of those bigger parks. You don't have to rush and, totally freak yourself out and stress yourself out trying to do this. But I do like to come in advance, and you can click on the sites and it will pop up more information about that particular site. It will tell you small tent, It will tell you its availability. There's tons of availability for this site right now. Show you where it is on the map. I always come down here and I'm looking for allowable equipment. Driveway length is 32, but they want you to have a tent in this one. So you need to pay attention to that. It's a tent-only site. And so if you're coming in here and you're wanting something for an RV, then I would definitely come in here to the filters and do the RV sites. And you can even put in your vehicle length and everything. But then you can see, okay, these ones are the RV sites and there's still availability for those dates, which is great. Let's click on this one. So you can see this one allows an RV. Look how cool that site is. I just love it. It's like right up against the rock. If you have kids, they could have so much fun on that. So you can see the RV sites have definitely less availability. Those are the ones that go first. Now look at this. There is no one next to you. This is like the perfect site. Okay, but when you come down here, just make sure that you're looking at this. Make sure the driveway length will work for your RV. Make sure everything looks okay. They have more information down here. So just do your research beforehand. I really think that that's critical that you do it beforehand so you kind of know which site will work for you. And then when your dates are released, then you will know which site you want to go for first. Okay, so this is the one that I would get. Like I said, holy smokes, that's so cool. And it's by itself and you can see pictures, kind of. Site 21. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my cart and then I'll finish paying for it and I'll have that reservation. So perfect. That's great. Now, if we're wanting to maybe look around more or we want to see these dates over here. So you can see these have not been released yet. So when you hover over this one, it says NR, it's not released. These are released on a 6-month rolling basis. And so 6 months before you want to take your trip is when that site will release. So if you click on that NR, it will tell you this is when you need to show up to get that site for that date. And put that on your calendar. I do always like to be here right when they open up. It just gets harder and harder to get reservations. Like I said, this one's not looking too bad right now, but it's just a good habit to get into. Show up when it opens up because when you go to other parks, that's going to play a much bigger role in whether or not you're able to get something. So just get in the habit. But if you're hoping to go on the 9th or whatever, you'll have to wait for that date to open up. And then when that date opens up, you can reserve out 7 days from then. So you can get all the dates you want as long as that first date of your trip is open. Okay, there you go. That's how you get a reservation. I would totally reserve that site. Maybe I need to take a trip to Canyonlands. But anyway, hopefully that's helpful to walk you through. Now I want to show you where you can go if you're not able to either get reservations in the B loop of the Needles, or if you're wanting to stay in the island in the sky, but the 12 sites first come first serve feels a little nerve-wracking to you. You're afraid you might not get something. You can't get there early enough in the morning to get something. Then let me show you where you can find some additional options if you're not going to stay right in the park. Okay, so this is the Campendium website. This is what I used when we were full-time RVers. I used it all the time. I really like it because I like the way it's laid out and how many options there are. So here we are in Canyonlands. This is the island in the sky up here. This is the Needles down here. So you can see if you click on this, there's your island in the sky campground. You can read reviews. You can see how people like it. And then you can see where there are some campgrounds or sites fairly close by. And so these ones over here, these are in Dead Horse Point State Park, which is just 15 minutes from the island in the sky. So that's a great location. These ones are on the road into Island in the Sky. Like when you're coming in from Moab, you're going to take this road up here. You can see how many options are here. So when you click on this, some of them are dispersed. Some of them are actual campgrounds. There are so many camping options in this area. So you can see here's a dispersed camping where if you just want to show up with your rig and, you just want to camp without any amenities or anything. But look at all these options like close to the island and the sky. And then you can go in more towards Moab. Here's Moab here, and you can see there are just a million options here. We really like the ones along this road. Over here, Goose Island is our favorite because it's super close to town and both parks. But then you also have them along this road out here. So many options. And then if you go down here to Highway 191, we're going down to the Needles. So you can see the Needles campground is right here. But there are a few options on your way into the Needles as well, where you could stop and camp if you're unable to get one of those first come, first serve sites. So that's really helpful. I find typically when I'm visiting Arches and Canyonlands, it doesn't really matter if you're not able to get the first come, first serve in the park. There is always somewhere for you to camp in this area. There are just so many options. You could not have somewhere to go really, because there is just so much like dispersed camping and stuff like that too. So relax, take a breath. Hopefully you'll be able to get what you want in Canyonlands National Park, and hopefully this has been helpful. If you need any more trip planning help for your Canyonlands vacation, be sure to go to dirtinmyshoes.com, where I have a fully written out hour-by-hour itinerary that you can follow for this park, or subscribe to the channel and I have more Canyonlands videos coming up. Have a great time in Canyonlands, and maybe I'll see you out on the trail.